Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is the 25th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is going to be out on September 3rd, only in theaters. Shang-Chi follows the events of Avengers Endgame, in which Shang-Chi and his friend Katie are drawn into the clandestine Ten Rings organization, and there, Shang-Chi is forced to confront his past, a past that he thought he had left behind, involving his father, Wenwu. I was really excited to see what Shang-Chi would bring to the table in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this is honestly one of my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies to date. This did what I was hoping Black Widow would do, and look, I like Black Widow, but Black Widow at times was a bit generic, and it just felt like it was an obligation to give Black Widow her own movie. This actually felt like it had a creative vision, it felt fresh, and it felt original. The entire third act of Shang-Chi is some mind-blowing MCU shit. A lot of the first reactions have said that. A lot of the first reactions have also said that the third act of this movie is very overstuffed, but let's go back to the first part of what I said, that the third act was mind-blowing. Yeah, usually when it comes to first reactions on social media, I'm not huge into believing like, oh, this is gonna blow you away, because everybody says that, and everybody's like, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe game changer, it'll forever change the way we think about Marvel movies, and I'm like, hey, whoa, 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 hold the horses, buddy. You said the same thing about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp I do like, and I do think we needed a smaller scale movie after Infinity War, but saying that Ant-Man and the Wasp is a game changer, So when I saw the reactions where it was like, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is a game changer, I'm like, hold on, hold your horses. I need to witness this for myself first. And yeah, I can say, I don't want to say it's necessarily a game changer, but at least that third act, and a good majority of this movie, honestly, offered up something that was fresh and original and a completely new vibe that I feel as if the Marvel Cinematic Universe hasn't had for a while. We were in desperate need of something like this, and Shang-Chi totally delivered. And going into that second half of that argument that people are making that the third act is overstuffed, yeah, sure, it might be overstuffed to an extent, but I think that the cool visuals, some really awesome creatures, and events that take place just so cool and really just exciting to see something cool, and you finally get to see something so original. I think that that actually outbalances how overstuffed the third act might feel to some people. In terms of how this movie feels fresh, we have some different mystical creatures in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I'm not talking like aliens, I'm not talking like Rocket Raccoon, or stuff that we've seen in like Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain Marvel or anything like that. I'm talking like creatures that we probably thought we would never see in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I'm not going to say specifically what these creatures are or the extent that they play in the movie. I loved every single one of them though, and I love the designs of all of them. The action is also really awesome in this. The camera is just sweeping from side to side, so you get a good view of every angle of the action. I love the way that Daniel Destin Cretton, who directed this movie, was able to direct the action scenes and the angles that he wanted to shoot the action scenes at, and the cinematographer did a very good job at capturing those on screen. It wasn't like the Russo brothers where it'd be quick cutting and then it looks like something's like fading in or fading out, or it looks like their action scenes were filmed on a GoPro for some reason. I have no idea. I've always thought that the action scenes, while they are great in the two Captain America movies and the two Avengers movies that they did, I've always thought, at least for the most part, that they looked a bit strange to me. I don't know what it was about it. I really didn't know how to describe it other than it looked like it was filmed on a GoPro, so that's why I'm saying it looks like the Russo action scenes look like they're filmed on a GoPro. Everything's just like buzzing in and out in those action scenes. No, you finally get some good peripheral shots from the camera in the action sequences. I loved how the action sequences went down. The action sequences felt like something new as well. A lot of kung fu. You could tell that there was a lot of inspiration drawn from classic wuxia films like Hero or Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, maybe even some earlier ones that I haven't seen and I probably should see. There were many scenes in this movie, especially in the beginning of this movie, where it just seemed like this world was just brightened up by its colors. All of the environments surrounding the characters characters, even if they were in a gigantic city. The color palettes just enlivened everything around them and made the movie come to life even more than it already was. Simu Liu, I think that's how you say his name, I really liked him a lot as Shang-Chi. I thought that he captured Shang-Chi's personal goals and his personal demons very well, and he had some great chemistry with Awkwafina, who does a phenomenal job. I think she's one of the highlights of the movie for sure, but the biggest highlight for me was Tony Leung as Wenwu / the Mandarin. After the dumpster fire of a villain that Dreykov was in Black Widow, because let's face it, he was not a good villain at all in Black Widow. I'm just still gonna say it right now, Dreykov to me is still the worst MCU villain. Yeah, I'm still saying it, Malekith is a better Marvel Cinematic Universe villain than Dreykov, sue me. After that villain fell flat on its face in Black Panther, we finally got a villain that I could resonate with, I could understand his motivations, who actually had screen presence and commanded the screen in every scene he was in. I loved everything that they did with Wenwu in this movie. There is somebody that they bring back from previous MCU movies, or a previous MCU movie, that I did not expect to come back. Every single minute of this character on screen, I was having a grand old time, and a lot of fans I think are going to be happy with the direction that they take that character. I'm not going to say anything anymore about it because then we'd be getting into spoiler territory. This is a spoiler-free review. And speaking of this being a spoiler-free review, I guess my one negative with the movie. Can I talk about this in a spoiler-free review? Because I feel like it's known that this character is in here, but in case you haven't seen the latest trailers for this movie, I probably should put a mild spoiler tag on it in a spoiler-free review, which doesn't really make all that much sense, but I'm going to anyway, so a minor spoiler here in a spoiler-free review. Abomination comes back. Complete waste of time. Honestly, my one negative with the movie, first of all, this wouldn't have been a problem if Abomination was in like Marvel movies from like 2 years ago, but no, this is his first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe after 13 years and you just shaft him. How much did Tim Roth get paid to come back to play Abomination? He didn't even get to play Emil Blonsky in this. If anything, I was expecting one scene with Abomination and then maybe have Emil Blonsky here and there throughout the rest of the movie. No, you don't even get Emil Blonsky. You just get 2 minutes of Abomination, which, why is Abomination in this movie? Why is he hanging out with Wong? Why is he fighting one? Why does Abomination look the way he does in the movie? The movie never addresses any of that. It never attempts to address any of that. It just leaves Abomination on the side of the road to rot and die. Did not need to be in this movie. But it was clear from the get-go with Shang-Chi that they wanted to do a character like Shang-Chi justice, and I think that Marvel was able to pull it off with the creative team that they have. I mean, one of the writers for the movie kind of worried me because it was David Callahan. I'm like, oh, the dude that wrote the Expendables and some other shit movies, but no, he actually crafted a really great screenplay with the director, Daniel Destin Cretton, and the story I was thoroughly engrossed in. I love the characters, I love the world that this movie opens up, and there were some mind-blowing sequences towards the end, things I thought I would never see in a Marvel movie, and I did love the musical score in here. Unfortunately, I saw this movie at a press screening, so it wasn't presented in IMAX or Dolby, and I bet that soundtrack would blare my ears out if I were watching it in IMAX or Dolby. I bet that thing bangs in either of those formats. I just loved how it just felt different compared to other Marvel scores, and this movie as a whole just felt different compared to many of the Marvel movies that we have been getting lately. And I was slightly disappointed with Black Widow, even though I still think it's a solid movie. This is the step in the right direction. This was fresh, it was original, it's what the MCU needs right now. I will say you will enjoy Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings with a full bucket of popcorn. So guys, are you going to see Shang-Chi in the theaters, or are you going to wait 45 days to watch it on Disney Plus when it goes on to Disney Plus for free? Whatever it may be, drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.